It's a masterfully cut trailer because if you're just watching, if that is the case and they don't want you speculating about who this guy is too much, they immediately distract you by having the music swell and the Falcon fly into frame, and you lose your mind.
Yeah, you do. And honestly, all I could think of was, holy crap, Abrams made the Falcon that much better, which I'm sure every avid Star Trek person and fan thought
When they saw the
when
Enterprise.
when they saw the Enterprise, and just hell, any of the starships that are out there for Starfleet in Star Trek, the new one.
Like
So
all they need to do now is give Abrams like the right to do a Firefly reboot, and he will own the trademark on space fun.
yeah, yeah, he really will. Oh man, yeah. And I I don't even know where to start. When I first saw the soccer ball droid, I guess is the best way to put it.
Oh, he's adorable.
I'm like, oh, how's that working?
I
like I'm kind of like, oh my gosh, wait, why is this happening? Uh, I'm like, please just don't be Jar Jar. And I don't think I have to really worry about that. I really genuinely don't feel like I have to worry about that. Um, the Falcon, I saw the rectangular array that's now on top of it, and I'm like, thank you very much for recognizing something that needed to be fixed. So I was happy about that. The X-wings, I'd seen some location shoots with, I guess, the models, the structures of X-wings in, I think it was England. I don't know specifically what the base is. I don't think we're going to know. Well, of course, we're not going to know right now,
I
but
think they did some of it at Leavesden Studios where they shot Harry Potter, but I'm not positive. Don't quote me on that.
wouldn't be surprised. I think it would. I know it was the UK,
Yeah,
so I wouldn't be surprised by that. One person that I'd seen a blog on there say, well, why are they using X-wings? And I know that everyone's talked about why is the technology decreased seemingly from episode to episode over the course of 4, 5, 6. And I guess one thing that the Clone Wars show has taught me, or has shown or has conveyed, is the fact that you're dealing with a true totalitarian entity. And what
yeah.
do I mean by that? They talk about economics. They talk about these issues. They talk about the banking sector and the banking group falling under the control of the empire. When, well, should the banks have been neutral, and should they not have any support specifically directly tied to the Republic during the Clone Wars or the Separatists? You're talking about these entities falling under one group. So, of course, innovation is going to stifle.
Yeah.
Of course, economic development is going to be slammed to a halt.
It's one of
I mean,
the biggest missteps of the prequels in terms of like storytelling through visuals is that you never see any deterioration of any of the societies, particularly from between the events of the end of episode two to the events of episode three, and because we spend the whole time in the rich district of Coruscant.
right.
So, but you hear about like I just rewatched all of Mr. Plinkett's Star Wars reviews. So, borrowing a phrase from those, it's a war with no consequences because we don't see anything, we don't see any repercussions
Right.
of the actual war. But it's something that should have been addressed, and therefore now seemingly is. It's the repercussions of the rebellion.
Right. And you're starting to see that you do see the repercussions, as she's putting it, of the war, of the Clone Wars in Rebels. You're seeing that it's a police state, that the Empire is not something of, not the great savior, not the great protector of, of people. You have one episode of Rebels is called Empire Day, and it might as well be taken from a Soviet Union or North Korean parade, where you're seeing military strength and power be paraded around as the great state as we should be very proud of this. When you look 5 miles in any direction and you're going to see squalor.
Right.
So I'm happy that they're starting to do that. Unfortunately, Rebels does take place a lot. It's not Tatooine, but it's another desert planet in the Outer Rim. And it's kind of like, geez, man, how many Outer Rim desert planets are there? For the love of God. Stop it. Not everyone is moisture farmers.
Well,
You're not moisture farmers.
if it's in the same system, though, you could make an argument for it because there's 2 suns in that system, which scientifically doesn't quite work, but for the purposes of the fiction, there's 2 suns in that system. So why not? Why couldn't there be more desert planets?
I can't specifically recall if I've seen 2 suns or not, but it's a little frustrating at times. But they're starting to show one of the ships in there. The main character, the main group's ship is called the Ghost, and it looks very similar to a Millennium Falcon-esque type ship. A cargo freighter, kind of a circular pod bay up front for a cockpit, a cone-shaped type cockpit. So it's nice that they're kind of keeping that in as far as some of the styling is concerned. Granted, yeah, I get it. It's space travel. You don't need to be necessarily aerodynamic, but we're not seeing stuff from the UNSC, the Halo universe, or the Alien universe with Wayland. Yeah, Nostromo, Wayland. I can't think of. Yeah, Yutani. Couldn't think of the last name there, but you're not seeing that sort of blocky Nuevo man current type of thinking out there. Yes, it is still the fantastical world of Star Wars, and we're seeing that, but you're starting to see those repercussions, and I like that, and I hope that gets explained. And granted, if we do get a whole new set of explanations of of a whole new expanded universe, okay, I'm fine with that. That becomes lore. Okay, great, but remember, it's like people remember. No, I think I read one blog or something that said. I can't specifically remember the quote maker of the X-Wing, but I think it's like the Incom or something like that, or In-10, something like that. It is something very close to InGen, but they were releasing a new product out there. I think it was the V-Wing at that time, but no, you don't see that or in the old expanded universe. But no, you're dealing with raggedy group of individuals, and you're going to have rinky-dink starfighters out there. So we'll see what happens. I'm excited for it.
Yes.
I've watched it a couple of times. I don't know what the hubbub was about the alleged new main character.
In the trailer?
Yes. Like the guy that was in the Star Wars uniform, or excuse me,
the Stormtrooper.
Stormtrooper. Star Trooper uniform.
I mean, you didn't really get a good look. I assume that we got a good look at 3 people. There's the dude in the Stormtrooper uniform. There's the guy in the X-Wing, and there was the girl on the bike. That's presumably our new trio. But you literally get 2-second looks at their face. If anybody's got a problem with those people at this point, you might want to examine yourself.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say anything beyond that, but you might want to examine yourself if you have a problem based on a 2-second look at any of those 3 characters. So, we have there's absolutely nothing to judge yet.
Right.
So
I couldn't agree more.
I'm excited to see what they do with a new trio of characters, and the fact that they didn't rely on showing you old Han, old Leia, and old Luke in the trailer. I think that was a good step.
Yes.
You can't market. Well, I mean, you could totally market the movie on the nostalgia factor of seeing those characters again, but I like the fact that they're not.
Couldn't agree more.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Absolutely. Let's see. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Did you happen to see the George Lucas fight?
Yes.
Force Awakens. Okay. That had me. That was very well done. So kudos to the maker of that. If you don't know what we're talking about, I'm sure if you just YouTube the Star Wars Force Awakens trailer, I would not be surprised if it's the number 2 video
Yeah, no, like it was. I was just I found it just by browsing YouTube under like what's popular film and animation category or something like that. Like it was number five. And I wasn't even searching for Star Wars. It was just there. There was also a Lego version where somebody like stop motioned the trailer using existing Lego pieces, which it wasn't as hilarious as the Force Awakens special edition trailer, um, but it was still pretty amusing.
Yeah, so for anyone's childhood that was destroyed by the re-release of A New Hope special edition, feel free to take a look, and you will definitely know what we're talking about.
Um, I have a feeling we're about to shift topics, but before we do, as long as we're still on Star Wars, and we're throwing out recommendations of things to find on YouTube, I may have mentioned it on the show before, but I'm going to throw it out there again. Look up Belated Media, and his What If segments. But they're the most popular videos on his channel. You can't not find them. But he has these two What If videos. He's working on the third of basically just what if Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones were good movies, and he basically just rewrites the premise of the movies in 10 to 20 minutes, and they are phenomenally good ideas and presented very well and very funny. And if you watch them and you like them, don't pester him about episode 3 because he's working on it, and I'm sure it's getting annoying with everybody asking for them, but they're very good.
Excellent. Belated Media?
Belated Media.
Excellent. I'm adding it to whatever I'm going to into my search criteria for for YouTube for later. Excellent.
So here's my next question.
Yes.
Did you get either of the new versions of Smash?
I did. I got the 3DS version.
I got the Wii U version.
Okay. What did you think?
I'm always a fan of Smash, no matter what. um, I played the demo of the 3DS version, and I got pretty decent with Mega Man. That skill set has not translated over to the Wii U version, but I have grown to like Pac-Man quite a bit. He's really fun.
I have stayed very close to home with playing mostly some of the original characters, so I haven't unfortunately branched out that much. One of the modes, it took a while for me to actually find it because it was seemingly buried in the menu subsets. I was looking for the last Smash Brothers game that I'd played before this was Melee.
Okay, so you completely skip Brawl.
Yes.
Okay.
I loved the single player, I don't want to call it campaign, but the progression that you go through in fighting all of the characters. And silly me, I figured a similar progression would be there. Unfortunately, that's not the case. You play through timelines. So you play in one time period of, I think, like 1981 to like 1984.
Yeah, the All-Star mode.
Yes. Yeah. And I'm glad I figured it out, and I've been having a lot of fun with it. Unfortunately, Omega Ruby came out, and now I'm starting to throw some more time into that. But yeah, busy Nintendo, way to go with your busy release, late quarter splooge of game releases. But I enjoy it. I'm not very good at fighters, so it's more like, oh, I'm going to play the stage. I want to hear the music. I just want to have fun, and not really more of a time waster, more of turn off my brain and have fun with some Nintendo characters more than anything.
Okay. I'm kind of going the opposite direction of you. Like I got both Omega Ruby and Smash for Wii U on the same day because they did come out the same day. And I've been playing Omega Ruby basically just on my breaks at work. So like maybe a half hour a day, just playing a lot of Smash if I'm playing it, because I've also been wrapped up watching a lot of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. But Smash is like the only fighter that I'm even moderately good at. You should have seen me when I tried to play Marvel vs. Capcom 3. It wasn't pretty.
Oh.
Um,
Same here.